Alrighty, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm super excited to have you here today and to learn how to get rid of these giant to-do lists that we all give ourselves and make ourselves nuts over. I will be recording this, so you'll get the replay when we're done. And I'm super excited to dive in. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Rachel Mednick. I owned a children's clothing company called Lucy and Leo for many, many years. And through that process, I got to know a ton of really amazing women entrepreneurs. And what I really found is that people just don't know how to structure their day and get stuff done. They get overwhelmed, they're afraid, they're scared to do things, they're not sure what to do first. So I really started doing some of this coaching and teaching people how to do this. And it's been amazing what the results are to see in other entrepreneurs with just a few tweaks here or there. It can be something so simple, but it can really make a huge deal and difference in how you plan out your day. So we're going to go ahead and dive in. I'm going to give you guys some tips to follow, and then we can go ahead and have time for lots of questions and answers. I'm also going to tell you about the planner that I use because I absolutely love it. And I know some of you guys listening use it too. So the first tip I want to talk about is think about how you want to feel in 90 days. So I like to work in 90-day cycles. Any of the tips that I'm talking about today, you can feel free to shorten, because sometimes if you're feeling super overwhelmed, thinking about 90 days can be too much. So these can all pertain to either thinking about how you want to feel in a week, even think about how you want to feel at the end of each day. That's going to be what's motivating you. So if you really want to feel accomplished, let's think about what is going to get you to feel accomplished. If you want to feel really productive, what's going to make you feel that way? If you want to feel happy, what are the things that you need to do to make you feel that by the end of each day, end of each week, or in 90 days from now? It's really important to think about how you want to feel, and that way you can kind of plan around that feeling so that you get that by the end of the day, week, or month. The next tip I want to talk about is identifying your top 3 goals. If you are feeling super stressed or overwhelmed, just start with one goal. Start with where you are. Even if you have a million things on your list, just pick one thing to accomplish that week. It's better to just start on something than to sit and be flustered and go back and forth with which to do first. Just start on one thing. So at the beginning of your week, make sure that you're clear on what your top 3 goals are. And again, if you need to just pick one, that's fine too. Start with where you are. But figure out what your top 3 goals are and what's going to help you get to where you want to be by the end of the week. So maybe it's to reach out and do some PR. Maybe it is to get your finances in order. Whatever it is, just be clear on what they are, and then you need to break them down into small steps, which we'll talk about in a second. So this is one of the silliest things that I see over and over and over again with entrepreneurs. They start with their planner and they are overwhelmed and they don't even know where to start. And they're afraid to write something down because they're going to do it wrong, or if they write something down, then it holds them accountable to doing it, and maybe they're not going to do it. So this is the easiest thing, guys, but just use something that's erasable. Use a pencil. I love to use erasable pens. I can show you guys at the end of the call which ones I use because they don't smudge, and that works really well for me. But there's so much power in just being able to erase what you are writing down. The same goes with Post-its. Stick them in your planner. If you need to make a change, you can easily move them from one day to the next. And it's so much easier that way. It's a real feeling of freedom. I know it sounds silly, but it makes a huge difference. So just remember, progress over perfection. Just start, just do it. You have to create new habits if you really want to get through your to-do list and get rid of that feeling of overwhelm. So make sure that you're just going ahead and starting. It doesn't have to be perfect. I know a lot of us are perfectionists, but it just doesn't have to be that way. The next thing I want to talk about is being realistic and setting yourself up for success. So how you do this is you need to really plan out your week and really think about how can you get all this done? And can you get all this done this week? Or do you need to push things to the following week? When I'm making my to-do list, I love putting the timeline next to it, like how much time is this task possibly going to take me? So when you're making your list, you can write, I need to contact 3 editors this week. What is that going to take you? Is it going to take you 5 minutes? Is it going to take you an hour and a half? Do you need to first find their contact information? What does it entail and what are the steps involved? So be realistic with yourself about what that actually is, because otherwise you're just going to be setting yourself up for failure at the end of the day. And I'll talk a little bit more about this as well. So planning your week the week before is huge. And again, if you're like in super overwhelmed mode right now, do it the day before. If you are putting out fires left and right, the day before can be a great way to just get this habit started. And just like anything else, it's a habit. It has to take some time before you'll really get into the swing of these things. So plan out your week the week before. What I love to do is every Friday afternoon, I only schedule things in my calendar until noon, typically on Fridays. And I use the rest of that day is a catch-all day. So it's anything else that needed to get done that didn't get done on my list. And it's time for me to sit and reflect about my week. Think about what I've gotten done. Maybe there's something on my list I haven't gotten done. And then when I see that, what is the reason for it? So taking that time to reflect is really important. And then based on how you're feeling, based on what you did or did not accomplish this week, don't be hard on yourself about it, but put it towards next week. So that way you can plan out your entire following week without worrying about it over the weekend. You can relax. You can get it off your head, just relax. And the following week, you'll know exactly what you need to do when Monday morning starts. So you're not going to be spending Monday morning freaking out about what's happening, because you'll just be able to seamlessly go from one task to the next. And when I say plan out your week, I mean really plan it out. I mean, get everything out of your head, identify your 3 priorities, and then plan out every single day in order of priority or by the hour or whatever might works for you. I also love to plan in bonus time each day. Some people like to do this every day, and some people like to do this every week. And all the things that I'm telling you right now, you're going to have to figure out what really does work for you, because everybody operates on a different schedule, a different mindset, and a different timeline. So there's no right or wrong way, but I'm giving you these tools, and then try them out and see what's working and what's not. And then we can talk about it afterwards. So like I said, I give myself Friday afternoons the time that I use for my bonus time, but think about what works for you. Maybe you are in a client-facing business, and maybe you have clients calling you every day, and there's constant things that are changing and moving, and you have different deadlines. For you, I would recommend giving yourself a bonus time for each day. So say you work till 5 o'clock every day, block off between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock as your bonus, like, catch-all time. So you don't schedule anything then. That's your time for you to catch up on things that maybe got interrupted that you had planned out, because realistically, that's just going to happen. So instead of like setting yourself up to fail, set yourself up for success and give yourself that catch-all time. And guess what? If you got everything done on your list that day and you didn't have any fires that you needed to put out, then you get to stop working early and go do something fun. So keep that in mind. It's all about really having that balance and finding out what really does work for you. So I want to talk a little bit how to structure your day and how to really structure your week. So like I said before, it's really important to identify those top priorities. And once you do that, we want to make sure that we do those things first in the week. So along with your top priorities, what can you do? How can you plan it out in your week? Can you schedule those things for Monday morning? Can you schedule those tasks so that you can get them off your list right away and you'll feel really good about it? It will motivate you to then continue on in the rest of your week. It will also help you to get into a flow. So I'm sure many of you have heard about this before, but getting into like that flow state when you're working is so important. So for me, Wednesdays are my days where I typically don't schedule a lot of meetings, and I just have like hours at a time where I can just be in the flow and I can work. And when you're able to write your tasks down in order of priority each day, you can seamlessly flow from one task to the next. So it makes it a lot easier, and you save so much time, because what you've planned out beforehand, so either in the beginning of the week or the day before, you've planned this out, you've written out all your tasks in order of priority, and then you just know exactly what to do next. You don't have to stop and think and waste 10 minutes in between each task and go, oh, well, maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that, well, this thing's really important, but this thing's really important. You will make yourself insane if you do that. So if you can really just write them in order of priority, that will help you to avoid that and be able to get more done in less time. And again, if you can block off this time to flow, even if it's once a week that you give yourself a 3-hour block or even a 1-hour block, be realistic with what actually works in your schedule. And just see what works for you, but this can be something that's so incredibly helpful. Also, when you're writing your tasks, especially your priorities, be really specific. When you're writing something on your to-do list or putting it into your calendar, whatever way works best for you, you want to make sure that it's super easy for you to cross it off your list. If it's too overwhelming, if it's too big of a task, you're going to avoid it. That's just human nature. So here's an example. If I wanted to reach out to 3 podcasts this week, in my planner, writing down 3 podcasts seems like a big deal. It seems overwhelming because I then have to find, like, there's other steps involved there that I didn't write down in my planner. So instead of writing contact 3 podcasts, when I plan out my week, the week before, I'm going to write contact these specific podcasts and here are their emails to do it. And that way, when I get to that task in my to-do list during my day, I know exactly what I'm doing. It's super easy to cross off and I don't have to stress out about it. Another great tool is to have a quick list. So in the back of your planner or maybe in the notes section on your phone, have a list of tasks that maybe take you like 10 minutes or less. And they're just things that you can do, you know, if you're stuck at a doctor's appointment, if you're waiting online somewhere, maybe you're on hold on the phone. It could just be, this is the time that you check your emails and respond. But having that list of things that are ready to go will be really helpful so that you can just be super efficient when you have that downtime. You can really make use of it. So another thing I want to talk about is block scheduling. And this is similar to kind of that flow type of state I was talking about before. But this is a little bit different because what you're going to do here is block out a task focus at a time. So I had somebody I was talking to recently, and she's trying to focus on all these different things. She's trying to do her marketing plan, but she's doing her end of the year finances, and she also has to be focusing on marketing her business. And for certain people, you kind of think in different tasks and in different modes. And if you're one of those people, which I am too, it can be super helpful to really block out an hour for one task at a time. So this means you shut off your phone, you shut off your notifications on your calendar, on your computer, and you set a timer for 1 hour. Setting the timer really helps also to keep you accountable to that. And you block off in your calendar that I am working on marketing for this hour today. Tomorrow I'm working on my finances for 1 hour, or whatever it is for you. And it can sometimes be hard to stop at the end of that hour, but knowing that you're working on all of these different things at once, this is a great way to do that, because otherwise it can be really hard to kind of have all these things weighing on you all at the same time. So because we can get into the habit of, okay, this week I'm only just going to work on my finances and that's it. But in reality, there's other things going on in your business. There's other things going on in your life that you need to work on. So that's not really going to work. So being able to block off certain time for certain tasks so you can really get into that mindset will help you. And knowing that you have time scheduled for the other stuff too is going to help. Another favorite thing of mine is to keep a future projects list. So this, for creatives, especially, our brains are always going. We always have new ideas, new business ideas, new things that we want to accomplish. But they can get in our way when we're trying to really do certain things. So having a place, whether it's in your planner, it's on your computer, on your phone, whatever works for you, that you can keep certain ideas that you have, it's a place to just hold them. So you know that they're somewhere. You know that they're in your calendar for future time, but for this week or for this 90 days, it just doesn't quite fit in. So that is what it's going to keep you motivated, because you know that there's at least a place for it, and that stuff is not going to be floating around in your head anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the planner that I love to use. Let me see. So what I love to use is the daily action planner, or called the Savor Life Planner now. It's this planner here. I know some of you guys use it. It is super, super helpful for me because I love being able to have everything in one spot and be able to just really have everything together. So this is great because in the beginning of the week, it has this section that you can use to detox your brain. So it's just a brain dump. So get everything out there. It has a spot for you to identify your top 3 priorities. And then from there, you can break it down. So this is what my week looks like. You can see I use Post-its, I use stickers, I use all these fun things. I love that it helps you to identify your weeds and your seeds. So weeds are things that you might not want to do. So something like your finances, maybe it's you have to throw in a load of laundry, maybe you have to do the dishes or vacuum the floor, whatever it is for you or for your business or in your life, those are the things that are going to be annoying, but you want to get them off your shoulders right away. So it's easy to just like write those down. Again, be super, super specific here about what you can do, and also be super specific about what the tasks are so they're easy to cross off your list. Seeds are things that are going to help grow your business or that you're working on for self-improvement. So they can be things like going to the gym. It could be something as simple as that. It could be reaching out to a media contact or scheduling a workshop or anything that's going to get you exposure, maybe going to a networking event. And then at the end of the week, again, it's so important to really look back on those seeds and weeds. Did you do them? I like to do those first thing during the week. And then see where you're at. Again, this is so important to just keep working on because you will have to establish this habit. So if you have a super long to-do list right now, I know it can feel overwhelming to kind of like stop and focus and really plan out your week, but I promise you it will save you so much time in the long run. And your to-do list will go down after a couple weeks of doing that. You just have to keep at it and be really patient and super focused, which I know that you all can do, but just stick with it. And if you have questions, then let's talk. I do these one-on-one calls where you can just sign up for a half an hour with me, and we'll go through your to-do list. Well, I can help you identify your priorities because I know that can be a challenge for some, and we can really talk it through and see where you're at. So one of the questions that I get asked a lot is just like how to start with this. And the thing is, you just have to do it. So start planning out your week, just go for it. Write everything down, even if it seems silly. Don't forget to use a pencil or a Post-it. I know that's the silliest thing ever, but it makes a huge, huge difference. And yay, Janelle just chatted. I'm so excited that you're feeling this is so helpful. It is. It's a control thing. Janelle is saying, I already feel like I have control over my schedule. And it's true. Like, you have to be in the driver's seat here. If you want to create change in your business and in your life, you have to be the one doing it. So get started. I'm going to put the link for the planner in an email with this recording to you guys, the planner that I use. And if you want to chat more, just let me know. I'm happy to help. This is what I'm here for. There's no use in trying to do this stuff alone. You will just be spinning your wheels. So try something new. And if you can have the accountability, which I can give you, or you can do with a friend, that's great too. So let us know if you have any other questions. You can email me at rachel@rachelmednick.com. And also make sure to follow me at RA Mednick on Instagram. Bye, guys.